Do you need a new dash camera that can capture high quality front, rear, and interior footage all in a sleek package? Simple Car Guy here, and today we might just have what you are looking for. This VIOFO A139 3-channel dash cam offers HDR, WDR, GPS, Wi-Fi, high-end sensors, and of course, 3 cameras. Let's see what comes in the box, how easy it is to set up, and of course, how good is that video quality? Of course, you can see there are a few more items here on my table. That's just because I got a couple of extra things in addition to the cameras. I got the hardwire kit, which I will not be showing in this video, but if you want to use the parking features of this camera, you will need this, and you will need to install this in your vehicle, and it shows you how to set it up as well. I also got this wireless Bluetooth remote control. It's useful to have right in front of you so you can hit the button and prevent files from overwriting. So it's the same as that button on the camera, basically for emergencies. I also got this polarizing lens filter. I'm very excited to see if this makes any difference. This is the first camera I've ever gotten this filter for, because in my BMW i3 the windshield does make a reflection in cameras basically every single time. I also got this 128 gig micro SD card, as this is not included with the camera. So depending on where you buy this camera, this stuff may or may not be included, so do check the description and you know what's included with your purchase. But yeah, this is the camera we're looking at. We're gonna have 4K resolution for the front camera, that's right there, and we're gonna have 1080p for the other cameras, which are going to be for the interior and for the rear of the vehicle. We can also see that it's using the Starvis 2, which is kind of a higher end sensor for the front camera, so we'll see if that makes any difference. Hopefully we see very smooth and high quality footage. It's also using 5G Wi-Fi, so the transfer between the phone and the camera should be much faster to save your videos. A few extra features on the side here. So we have super night vision. Very excited to see how that works, because we know that the night footage is the most difficult part for most dash cams. We also have parking mode, GPS logger, and voice notifications, so it'll tell you when it's connected to GPS and things like that. They do mention super slim coaxial rear camera cable, so that's going to be very nice for filtering those wires through the cabin. Let's go ahead and open it up and see what's inside. Alright, and here's the camera itself. At the top here we have a few LEDs that will tell us what's happening with the camera when it's recording, with the micros being on or off, GPS and Wi-Fi. We of course have the power button, record button, the emergency button, the mute button, and the Wi-Fi button. So whenever you want to connect to the app on your phone, you probably press this button so that you can then go into the Wi-Fi mode. On the left side here, we have the microphone and the reset button. On the top here, we have the AV and the mic ports, so you can add an additional microphone if you like, but it does have that built-in mic right there. We also have our rear and interior input. We can see how tiny those connectors are, and of course the USB Type-C power plug right there. And of course we have the micro SD slot in here as well. It is using a 3M adhesive, so that's good to see. Those are usually very good quality. Very nice low profile, and this camera is adjustable 300 degrees. So doesn't matter where you mount it, the camera should work just fine. Let's see what else we have. We have a product registration warranty card and a professional customer service card. So if you need to reach out, you can do that. We have a couple of these films that go on the windshield, and then you can put your adhesive on it. Love it. That way you don't have to stick it to the windshield, and you know, makes it a lot easier to take it off in the future, or if you want to move it to a different car. We have some tips on how to plug in these connectors properly and not to break anything. We have a manual, so I've read through just a little bit of it, and it does seem like good quality and well-written manual. It does tell you a few things about installation and what the LED indicators mean and everything else. We also have the interior camera, so that's what it looks like. It is also adjustable, so you can spin it. Looks like basically 360 degrees. Not sure if you're supposed to spin it that much, but that works. We also have the rear camera. Looks like it's an interior camera, so do not mount it outside. We do have the polarizing lens filter for the camera. Yeah, that's interesting. Looks like it is included, so that's something to note. Maybe you don't need to get the extra one. We of course have the data cable, so you can transfer your files to the computer directly if you like. We also have the much longer cable that will go from your cigarette lighter to the camera, so this will be routed, all the way through the car. We also have the video cables. This is going to be the interior cable that goes from the interior camera to the main camera right there, and the same thing for the rear, obviously just much longer wire. They also include some trim removal tools for ease of installation of these thin wires, which is very nice, and of course some extra adhesives in case you need to replace them or move it to a different car. And that looks like a micro SD card, so you can plug it into your computer and get the footage off much faster than through the phone. This is indeed the same polarizing lens, so you probably don't need to buy an extra one like I did here. Installing this camera was made simple by the thinness of the wires between the cameras, so you should have no issues getting the wires from the front of the vehicle to the rear. There are 3 wires to deal with, but the GPS and Wi-Fi are built in, so there is no bulk by the camera. Since the camera does not have a screen, all of the setup is done via the app. But luckily that is very easy to do. To be clear, the camera works out of the box and nothing really needs to be configured, but if you like playing with settings, you'll need to download the app, connect to the camera via Wi-Fi. I suggest using 5G as it's much faster. Once connected, you will see all 3 cameras live feed at the top. This is great for adjusting camera angles. From the main screen, we can also access the settings menu where we can adjust video resolution for the cameras, loop recording, mute the microphone, adjust exposure for each camera, turn on HDR, and a few other settings that you might find useful. Other than changing settings, you can also download clips directly to your phone. While connected to 5G Wi-Fi network, the transfer is very fast, faster than any other camera I have tested, and it only took 10 minutes to download 48 clips or 48 minutes of video, so a single clip only takes about 15 seconds or so. Very impressive. Speaking of the videos, let's see what kind of quality this camera can record. We'll start with the day footage where the camera should shine, and they do. The front camera has great HDR, which allows us to have good contrast between the bright sky and the darker road. We do see a little bit of reflection, which I thought the CPL filter would completely eliminate, but it still looks good. The rear camera delivers on quality as well and captures very nice quality video, especially for 1080p and through a tinted and not very clean rear glass. We can easily read license plates as well as street signs from either of the cameras. The interior camera has a very sharp image as well and would be perfect for anyone carrying passengers or doing deliveries. Now let's switch to some night footage and see if the quality is still as good. As we can see, the interior camera makes me look scary at night, but besides that, it does a good job capturing inside the camera in complete darkness. The interior camera is using a few IR LEDs just like a security camera would. Alright, so I just wanted to quickly check and see how well the microphone works. I'm sitting about, I would say 2.5–3 feet from the main camera where the microphone is. We're in a BMW i3, so it should be pretty quiet, and we're going about 50 miles an hour. Also, how good does this interior camera look? I'm sure it's using the infrared right now, but is it any good? Let's see. Switching to the front camera, we can see that the Sony Starvis 2 is doing its job and pulling in as much light as possible using WDR, even though we are driving on a dark road. The rear struggles a little in the super dark streets as there is no help from the headlights, and you may not always be able to read license plates using this footage. But compared to some other cameras I have tested where the rear video is practically useless, going through my tinted glass, it's not too bad. Overall, I would say it's one of the best cameras I have tested as far as night footage so far, and I also really like that the frame rate is smooth and not choppy even while recording 3 video feeds at the same time. Whether you are a ride-sharing service driver, a taxi driver, or want to cover all your bases, this VIOFO A139 should be able to satisfy all your needs. I especially like the slim design of the camera and thin wires, as well as a very fast Wi-Fi for downloading clips. I would say this camera meets my expectations at the current price, and I think I will be keeping it in my car permanently from now on. If you found this video useful, hit that like button. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.